Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Ryan, and I'm going to talk to you today about Southampton Business School. So the first thing to say is that I'm only going to take a little of your time, and I'm going to try and give you the highlights. So I'll talk to you a little bit about where Southampton is relative to the UK cities, and I'll talk specifically about the rankings because I know they're really important to you. And I'll also talk about the important things that are available to students in terms of support and the facilities as well, because I know all these things are really key. So the first thing is, where is Southampton? It's on the south coast. For those of you who know very much where London is, it's about an hour and a half on the train, and it has good transport links to both kind of Portsmouth, Brighton, Bournemouth, these kinds of places. The city of Southampton itself is not too far, as I said, from London. It's very international. It has its own airport, and the city is home to around over 30,000 students from over 50 countries. So it's a very international university. And it has a lot of parks. Actually, it's got over 20 parks. Some of them very big, some of them very small, but it's a very kind of naturally beautiful city to be in because it's on the ocean. It has its own port, a very functioning port, and I'll talk about kind of the Southampton link to that port in a second as well. What's around Southampton? Very briefly, as I've said, you've got some of the most beautiful beaches in the UK. You've got the New Forest, which is one of the largest forests in the UK. So on your weekends, typically students don't just stay in the city. They do tend to get out in amongst natural beauty and have a good time socially. But moving on to more academic things, this is a university with almost 160-year history. It's as close as you can get to that, and it's 8th in the UK in terms of research intensity. It's top 15 in the UK. It is, of course, a Russell Group university, and just to mention one of the key points I think you want to be aware of, and that is that it has over 6,000 international students from over 130 countries. That's a very diverse cohort of international students. Being a founding member of the Russell Group, it has strong roots to research, strong roots to businesses, which I'll talk to in a little while. But one of the things that's attractive about the business school specifically is that it supports applications to study abroad within your program. So once you're studying in the university, you will get opportunities to apply for study abroad as well as part of your program. It's accredited with international bodies as well, which I know we've touched on, and one of the UK's only business schools that has founding programs in foundation and engineering. So that's quite an interesting mix in terms of programming, because business and programming are kind of merging, and marketing, and one of the things that Southampton's renowned for is marketing as well. It's got strong links to other UK companies. There are many UK companies set on the south coast, and a lot of those businesses come to Southampton and work closely with them in terms of their innovations and projects. One of the things, I was up there a couple of weeks ago, and one of the things that they were working on is with a huge retailer in the UK. I can't say much about it because it's not top secret, but it's a research that's active and ongoing, and they're working with a huge retailer in terms of innovating their footprint and carbon footprint across the UK. So it's a very, very, very active research community. The other thing to say is it's top 20 in the UK for accounting and finance. It's top 10 for marketing. Their marketing program is renowned for kind of the macro and micro analysis that they do. So that's why maths is required for us, because maths is a huge part of research. And it's top 20 for economics and finance as well. 33rd globally for statistics and operational research. Top 20 in the UK, as I've said, and global #1 business incubator. All of these are different rankings by different institutions, but you can see it's got a strong history and a strong connection to the business world. These are some of the programs that are offered in Southampton in terms of undergraduate. I'm not going to read them all out, but from the top there, you can see that economics and philosophy. That's a very interesting mix of things, and that's one of the things that Southampton prides itself on, kind of diverse thinking and not the kind of standard blueprint of just business management. It has very, very interesting blends of programs. Of course, the big things are there too, like accounting and economics, business analytics, but also at the end you can see another interesting one, politics and economics. So undergraduate programs, very diverse, very broad, very interesting topics for you to consider. In terms of master's level, There's global advertising and branding, and the usual things like digital business, marketing, accounting and finance, and international management too, which I'm sure some of you or many of you will be very interested in, and how it differs with UK management styles. But that's a good summary of the diversity of the business offering. In terms of their facilities, Southampton's campus is quite spread out across the Southampton. So there's Highfield and Boulderwood, which are really close. They're actually walking distance. They're about 10 minutes apart. Then you have the University Hospital and the Waterfront campus. Now, the Waterfront campus is world renowned for different reasons than business, but it does have connections with kind of cargo ships and engineering for ships and things like that, which again is heavily research focused. Then there's the Avenue campus, which again is a walking distance from Highfield and Boulderwood, and Winchester is slightly outside Southampton. All of those campuses are connected by the university bus link. So there is a bus link that connects all of them, and it connects all of them not just to each other, but also the facilities of Southampton. So all of the accommodation blocks within the city, the recreational facilities, the sports facilities, anything that's connected with the university is on the university bus link. And as part of your undergrad or your student ID, you will have access to the university bus link at a discounted rate. And those buses have free Wi-Fi, free charging, all the good stuff that we want as students. In terms of resources, I believe there's a strong suite of resources for Southampton. There's a Bloomberg suite, but it's also got things like, as you'd expect, a virtual environment where all of your communications are navigated through, especially in a post-COVID world. Wi-Fi access across all campuses. It's got 5 libraries with over 3 million books. The other thing to say is because it's part of the Russell Group, it has access to Russell Group University libraries. So if there's a book that you found online that if it's not one of the 3 million that they have, and it's in one of the other Russell Group universities, then you can request to loan it out, because that's one of the connections, one of the advantages of being part of that heavily research focused Russell Group. In terms of recreational facilities, there's 9 gyms on 6 campuses, 3 in the city, very large. There's a centenary building, very, very, very cutting edge, and that's the one you see there in the building. It's brand new. It's got all the most modern technology you can imagine. There's free in-sessional English language support throughout your program. So if you're struggling with that extra English that you might need to put those assignments together last minute, that's there and available to you. And there's free study skills as well throughout your course of study. In terms of support, so one of the questions was what support is given. Well, there's a 24-hour student hub. Part of that is welfare. If it's particular to SEN needs, so dyslexia or anything like that, or physical access or accessibility, then simply you would go to the student hub and you would request support for that, and they would give you whatever support is available to you, whether that's direct from them or other facilities that they have partnerships with for your needs. But for example, if you needed extra time on your exam because of an accessibility need, then you'd be given that as part of an application process, etc. So it's all very well considered, and all applications are. As I said, there's a student disability and inclusion team that manages all of those requests. In terms of security, it's 24-hour security, and the other thing to say is because of the link or the linkages across the city with the buses, essentially when you're at campus for an evening event, the other thing that you want to do is get home back into the city. Well, the university bus link doesn't just drop you off at the bus stop, it drops you off outside your accommodation, and that's part of the offering of the security that is as good as you can get, if I'm honest. There are a few more things in terms of leisure and facilities that you'd expect, but I think I'll end on the note that Southampton has the largest number of sports and recreational clubs in all of the student unions across all of the UK, with over 230. So it's a broad range of activities that you can do whilst you're a student and enjoying student life with us. I hope that's what